Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are Group 5 and today we are going to debate about PSSI must reduce the number of national players to foster the progress of our Indonesian football. We are divided into two teams. We are pro team. I'm Suci Nur Hidayah as the first speaker.
And I'm Linda Wahyuanjani, I'm second speaker.
And I'll have Siana as the third speaker.
We are Content Team. I'm Wandi Hafiz Pratama as the first speaker.
I'm Muhammad Rahmat Al-Halik as the second speaker.
And Yamudi Sakri as the third speaker.
Happy watching! Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone who has joined us today. Thank you for being here and thank you to everyone who is watching this video. Today, we are going to discuss about the topic that's really crucial to the future of Indonesian football. The motion of our debate today is PSSI must reduce the number of national players to foster the progress of our national football. As we know, national players are foreign-born athletes who get Indonesian citizenship to play for our national team. These players have good skills and bring useful experience from other countries. However, there is a debate about how about their role, because some people think that if we depend too much in these players, in the national players, it will take away changes from our local talent. I'm Suci as a pro team. I strongly believe that reducing the number of national players is the right step to improve our local talent. It is because this change will give more opportunities and changes for our local talent, which can help us to improve our local talent and give them more changes to joining with our national team. I will explain why this is important. First, when we have too many national players in our national team, our local players can lose their opportunities, can lose their chances to participate too. And football is a team sport, and if the most position are taken by the national players, the question is where will the local players go? But if we reduce the number of national players, it will be help them to improve their skills. For example, let's say there are 11 players in the starting team, then 6 of them are the natural players. This means the local players only get 5 spots. But if we reduce the number, if we reduce this number, then the local players will have 8 or 9 spots. This can help them to prove themselves. Second, develop local players for the future. Well, giving more opportunities, giving more changes to the local players will help them to improve their skills. How can the local players improve if they never play? And when we give them the opportunities, when we give them more changes to play more often, to join more often, and to participate more often, they will get better. They will learn how to face a strong team and how to handle any pressure. This is important to build. It is important to build Indonesian future. It is important to build our national football to the future. And natural players can help us, of course, but they can help us in a short term. And the natural players are not long-term solution, because the natural players will retire eventually, and we will be left with weak local players if we don't give them changes now. So we need to focus on training and trusting for our local players. We need to focus on a training and give them changes to play more often. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And the first speaker from control teams would like to deliver our arguments. Okay, I think we are on the same page, but in this page, you are a loser and I am the winner. Okay, in fact, in the first years of Sintayong's coaching, our national team, most of our national team is a local players, but it's not show any significant changes. Why? Because our national team or our local players hasn't have not much experience about international competition. And of course, we need a players that has high ability, because as we know, playing football is not only about skill, but the mental ability, of course, physical, and football IQ. That all we need to win the match. So of course, one of the solution is PSSI have to add the number of foreign players. Why I said so? Because foreign players or naturalized players has much experience, and of course their ability is highest or higher than our local players. And second, an example, for example, at AFF competition, in the previous match or last night, Indonesian lost or get lost from against Philippines. And of course, after this match, Indonesia is not qualified to semi-final. And from 3 previous match, Indonesia only get 1 wins against Myanmar, and the points only 4. From this match, from IFF match, we can analyze that our local players is not enough to face a bigger national team than ASEAN. So that's why we need a players that can face them, and or we can say we need a players that can beat the higher or a bigger team than ASEAN. So that's why PSSI must add the number of foreign players. And then local players, as we know, local players has mental or physical that low than a foreign player. So that's why that is the weakness from our local players. That is the weakness, of course. And the strength, I think local players has struggled to win the match against Philippines last night. Okay, so maybe that's all. Thank you.
While naturalized players bring experience and skill, they also create some challenge for a national team. First, they can affect the team harmony and make it harder to build good teamwork on the field. Second, skilled naturalized players might take playing time from local players, reducing opportunities for them to grow. A strong national team should focus on developing local players using naturalized players only when needed. Third, relying too much on naturalized players can make local players and fans feel disappointed and less proud of the team. A successful team should inspire to its own people. The last, there are ethical concerns, especially if naturalized is seen as the quick solution for a weak team instead of a plan to develop local talent in the long term. In conclusion, while naturalist players can help to the short term of the match to be careful playing it. We need balance between supporting local talent and using naturalist players strategy. And I'm pro team and my opinion. When a national team includes more local players, it's better represent the country, identity, and culture. These players often have a deeper connection to their homeland, which can full a sense of the pride and responsibility. When representing their nation, this connection creates a stronger bond among team, fostering unity and together on the field. With shared experience and values, local players can better understand each other, which can improve teamwork and communication. As a result, is the fighting spirit and determination to make their fighting and their country proud increase, motivating them to perform their best and inspire the fans who see themselves reflecting the team. Thank you.
I'm the second speaker will opposite Ninda's statement. I think it's not about the field, but how the way we win. This argument, you say that local players are directly connected to national pride. However, it ignores the ability of international players who can realize dreams through their performance. And in this statement, you say that more local players will boost team spirit and national pride. However, this is too simplistic. Many other factors affect the team, such as the leadership, the way of training, and the relationship between players. So it's not just about the number of local or foreign players. Incorporating local players into the national team should be done at the right time. If they are not ready, the team's performance might suffer. The success of the national team depends on the selection of players and their readiness to compete. Soccer players can be influenced by their background and place of origin in showing pride in their country. Players from different regions may have different views on what it means to represent the nation. This can make for a richer team identity, but can also cause conflict if not handled properly. Local players thought to be more loyal to the country. However, this reasoning ignores other motivations. such as a personal habitation or money, which can also make athletes perform well, regardless of their origin. The selection and incorporation of local players into the team is very important. The process is unfair. It can cause resentment among players and fans. This will interfere with the goal of creating unity and pride. In short, while there are benefits of involving local players in the national team, stating that this automatically leads to an improved reflections of team identity and spirit is an oversimplification. A more in-depth approach is needed to understand how various factors contribute to a cohesive and successful national team. But I have other idea. That is, we know naturalized players are players who were not originally citizen of a country but later become a part of the national team after gaining citizenship. Naturalized players are usually athletes who have experience playing in more competitive foreign. They can come from different countries and have different backgrounds. They play in foreign leagues that are known for their high level of competition, such as leagues in Europe, Asia, or South America. And naturalized players often join the national team during major tournaments or when the coach is looking for ways to improve the team's performance. Their experience in more competitive leagues can bring many benefits to the national team. They can bring better techniques and strategies and playing mentality. With the addition of naturalized players, the quality of play and strategy of the national team can improve, and they can share their knowledge and experience with local players so that the whole team can develop and adapt to a higher style of play. And overall, naturalized players can make a positive contribution to the national team with their experience from competitive overseas leagues, thus improving the quality of play and team strategy. Okay, that's all from me as a contra team. Thank you.
They may they may come different countries and play in prestigious competitions, but local players born in Indonesia are just good as naturalized players. Local players are trained well at clubs and have the great abilities in competitions on the field. Many local players have played in leagues in Thailand, Korea, and the US, and some even joined top teams like PSG in France. This shows that local players have the skills, motivation, and strength to play abroad and can inspire other players as well. I agree with what Mr. Junior Hidayah said about giving local players the opportunity to play for the national team on the world stage. It's important. It's important to manage their skills well, either by the clubs or by the players themselves. With a good prover and management, local players will develop and be able to compete internationally. It's not just about building skills, but motivation, motivation, humility are also important for local players to have. So they can maintain a strong mentality both on and off the field. I admit that naturalized players are often better than local players, but what's wrong with giving local players a chance to grow? In my opinion, you're being past mistake about the achievements and efforts of local players. If this mindset continues even 1,000 years from now, our countries will remain behind in the football world. How could you not? Even giving local players the opportunity to minimize the reliance on naturalized players is already very difficult for us. Instead of naturalizing too many players, PSSI needs to scout competent local players by holding competitions where it is hoped that there will be local players who have good abilities. Probably facilities tools that function. The league must be managed well. Where if the league is managed well, the clubs and the output is that the club and the players will be of good quality. As well as providing strength to rules that not only the ability to the play ball owned but also discipline needs to consider. They are better because their training facilities are excellent and their coach is highly qualified, not just a fair. This is different from local players who mostly train with limited facilities compared to the training of the foreign or naturalized players. On top of that, local players are really given the same opportunities as Indonesia gives to outsiders. What if in the future your children or grandchildren become some of the best players nationally or internationally? That's why there's nothing wrong with supporting local players to achieve success too.
I'm the third speaker. Will Oversight has this statement. While I appreciate your perspective on the abilities of local players, but I have to disagree with some of your ideas about naturalized players. You said that local players are just as good as naturalized players, but we need to think about the experience that naturalized players bring. Many of them have played in really top leagues around the world, which means they have faced different style of play and high pressure situation. This experience can really help our national team. For example, when naturalized players play alongside local talent, they raise the standard and encourage everyone to step up their game. You also mentioned how local players can develop to training at clubs. And that's true. But naturalized players can be great mentors too. They can share their knowledge and skills, helping local players improve faster. For instance, if a naturalized player who has played in Europe trains with our young forwards, they can teach them about things like positioning and making quick decisions during game. This kind of guidance is super important for developing our homegrown talent. I get your point about supporting local players, but many naturalized players have a real connection to Indonesia and care a lot about representing our country. Their passion can boost team spirit and pride among both players and fans. When fans see these athletes giving their all for Indonesia, it creates a sense of unity that can inspire your younger generation. And you mentioned being worried about relying too much on naturalized players, but I think we risk falling behind if we don't embrace this approach. Countries like Japan and
Qatar have done really well by including naturalized players in their teams. For example, Qatar's national team became much more competitive after they brought in naturalized players before the 2022 World Cup. We should learn from their success instead of limiting ourselves. While I agree that local players have a lot of potential, ignoring the benefits that natural players bring will be a mistake. Instead of seeing them as a threat to local talent, we should think of them as valuable assets who can help improve Indonesian football. By combining the strength of both local and naturalized players, we can build a stronger national team that makes all Indonesians proud.